Hello everybody. When I was 20 years old, I made a video for myself called Dear 25-Year-Old Me. That was 5 years and a day ago. So I have had incredible self-control since then, and I have never watched this video back. I don't know if I'm gonna like all the stuff she has to say. But I do love that Joan Didion quote about, being on nodding terms with your previous selves. Also, I just opened this video up. I haven't started it yet, but it is 24 minutes long. Hi, 25-year-old Kate. This is 20-year-old Kate. Right now, I live in Missoula, Montana with Kian, Alex, and Boston. We call our house that we rent together the boyfriend house. Before living in the boyfriend... My Zoe Deschanel new girl era, living with my boyfriend and two dudes. I used to work at coffee earlier this year, and that is probably one of the favorite jobs I've had. Now I have been doing DoorDash for the past few months, and rest in peace to my car. This was before my car got hit. When it was parked outside, some stoned teenager ran into the side of it. My Jetta was totaled, and I was really sad about it. And then I didn't have a car for 2 years, and I walked around everywhere. So I am currently looking for a new job, and I am living that unemployed lifestyle, and I hate it so much. Being unemployed is really boring, but I'm trying to take advantage of the time that I have to really plan for these next few years ahead, so I hope you're reaping the benefits of that. I am reaping the benefits of that. That's really sweet. Okay, I don't know what you were planning. I don't think your life is anything like you thought it was gonna be at all. As far as mental health goes, this year you kind of got some big scary news. It was okay. You came out of it for the better. I feel like finally I have landed on just this perfect cocktail of medication that keeps me from completely going off the rails. I had a really wonderful team at this time. They really set me up for success, especially thinking about diagnoses in terms of that's just something that you use to bill insurance and prove that you need medical treatment. I'm definitely more stable now. I feel like I have a good deal of stuff figured out, but certainly not everything, because I am 25, halfway to 50. That's what I keep joking with my coworkers about. Right now I'm also seeing a psychoanalyst, and it will be like a game changer for you for therapy. And you also get to learn about psychology and psychoanalysis. You get really into Lacan and Freud, and it's awesome. And it's also a really fun lens that you end up using to view media and think about the world in a really critical way. It just helps a lot, and it's nice to have someone to just throw my ideas at, Oh, I know, very much a verbal processor. I'm a Gemini moon, and so I kind of like to use my therapy sessions as almost a release valve, so I don't pester my friends and family constantly. I still pester them. You've been growing your hair out since February. It's it's so short. That's so cute. What they look like. I quite like them. I think I'm gonna have bangs for a long time because it's really a pain to grow them out. And I just like the way they look. I feel like they frame my face really nicely. You've dyed. This is so funny. You're going into all of this little detail. You're like, I have bangs because I like having bangs. I think they look good. Hair about 4 times in the past year, which, while it was very fun, it really screwed up your curl pattern, especially since you used permanent dye every time, which, questionable choice. That was a questionable choice. You're being annoying with this whole curl pattern thing. I do miss having my really curly hair. Yes, it's true. But also, it doesn't matter that much. Sometimes you just want to go for the stuff that's easier. You do dye your hair blonde, and it was fun. It looked good. Yeah, I'm curious to see what your hair looks like, and if you dye it or if it looks kind of the same. It looks kind of the same, yeah. This is what our makeup looks like. You can't really see it in this lighting, but that's okay. It's basically just a bunch of blush, a little bit of highlighter, some winged eyeliner. Get off of TikTok. Get off of the TikTok. The e-girls are poisoning your brain. They're poisoning your brain. Everybody at this time needed to stop trying to do Belle Delphine makeup on the low. I guess I'll show you what my makeup looks like. It looks like this. Do some skincare stuff. I'm really trying to do skincare every day. I do skincare every day. That's like a non-negotiable thing for me. Use Pond's cold cream, which is truly a magical substance. This is what your usual outfits look like. Okay, yeah, we've got a t-shirt and black jeans. I still buy that exact same pair of black jeans. This was kind of the dawn of when Baby Kate started dressing more femme. That dress was like garbage material. At this point, I only buy dresses like that, mostly at like on Etsy, like vintage dresses, because a lot of the clothes coming out today are just really gross fake fabrics that don't feel comfortable, aren't breathable, aren't sturdy. So, 25-year-old Kate, how's it going? It's going really great. You have a job that you love and makes you feel like you're doing something in the world. You're maybe a little bit of a workaholic, but at this point, I don't really see a problem with that. Where the heck do you live? Like, right now, if I could move absolutely anywhere after Missoula, I would love to live in Chicago. I find that there are a lot more job opportunities in the field of writing and stuff like that up on the East Coast. So, you know, that whole Lady Bird quote about wanting to be one of those writers who like live in the East Coast in the woods up in Maine. You're so right, girl. You spit out those Lady Bird quotes. Exactly. You live on an island with Michael and Carlisa, which is kind of crazy, but really fun. I lived in Montana for 4 more years. Then you moved to Bellingham. I revisited for Halloween to see Calvin and Melina and Fiona and Max and Nico, all the dear friends up there. You know, the people there are great. The place is pretty boring. So yeah, you didn't have the best time in Bellingham. There was a lot going on also though, and you were like broke and paycheck to paycheck while you were living in. Right now though, I am looking at moving to a new place and not freeloading off of your siblings anymore. So I want to know some things about you, like what does your hair look like? How do you do your makeup now? Do you wear makeup? How do you dress? What's your like favorite outfit to wear on a daily basis? I'll record that tomorrow. Have you published anything? Like, have like written and published any essays, any books? Like, that'd be awesome. I think one of my goals that I set for myself this year was to like publish my first book before I turn 25. I mean, I've written like 50 pages of a book right now. It's like a memoir, but like, it'd be crazy if that was published by now. Like, sorry. Dang, okay, you're making me feel guilty. Yeah, no, you haven't published a book before the age of 25. I don't know what this 50 pages of a memoir you're talking about. I guess a lot happened, but nothing that I would care to share now. I barely even tell people stuff about my life in general before age like 21. So good luck with your book. But you become a lot more private over the years. You end up working on the Oval, which is the undergraduate literary magazine. There's a staff edition each year for all the staff to publish their art and their poetry and their writing. And so I've published 3 or 4 maybe essays. So you are a published writer. Hope you followed through. Because that's so mean. I didn't. Right now, the only thing that you've like properly published is a short memoir story about like when you came out for the first time, and that was published in like the University of Montana's Writ 101 textbook. So it was a really weird moment when one of your coworkers was mentioning her Writ 101 class, and she had read your coming out story. So I guess gotta get used to that, right? I don't want to get used to that actually. That's why I don't really share or publish stuff that much anymore. It's not that I've become less open, because if people ask me questions, I'm generally an open book. You get tired of telling the same story over and over again, essentially. That's why you don't really end up writing about yourself as you get older. You end up writing a lot more about art and culture and media and politics and history and all of this nerd stuff. And sorry for not writing a book. Gosh. Do you still make the year in review videos that I make out of like my Snapchat memories every year. Like, I'm working on that right now, and genuinely it's like one of my favorite things to do, and I love looking back on those, even if Snapchat isn't a thing. Is Snapchat a thing? Snapchat is not a thing for me, because Snapchat is for children and sex perverts. But yes, I do still make those videos. What happened with the National Labor Relations Board case that you opened during COVID? So with the NLRB case, they paid you enough in back pay that you were able to go back to school. They also had to change a bunch of other stuff in their employee handbook because they had other labor rights violations other than firing you. And they had to send everybody a letter that said, sorry for firing Kate, that was super illegal. Yeah, so it went really well. And also really set you on a certain path in your life to unionize the first Starbucks in Montana with your dear friend Catherine and some other wonderful folks. You moved on to Bellingham and tried to unionize a store there. It did not go quite so well, but you learned a lot. You learned a lot with that, and you were able to carry that with you into your current job, which is working as a union organizer, which is pretty amazing and pretty crazy to think about. Like, you had no idea that you would be here. But COVID, you were asking questions about COVID also. I hope not. I hope it's not going on by the time I'm 25. But like, how soon did we get out of it? Did the vaccines work? Like, did Biden shut everything down when he took office? Like, oh, that's another thing. Joe Biden just won the presidential campaign with his Vice President Kamala Harris. But, you know, I'm kind of glad that they won over Trump, you know, because, like, that guy sucks. You're so right. But you want to know something crazy is he's president again. Well, we can come back around to that. But COVID, right? COVID's not, like, eradicated or anything, but we're not masking up. We're not social distancing. When I went to New York, I will say, being on the subway gave me, like, COVID anxiety. I'm more of a germaphobe these days. But, you know, you come out the other side okay. Being with people again after COVID, it was amazing. So, do you work in publishing or, like, journalism now? Because I really hope so. I hope you didn't give up and go into, like, marketing or something like that, because that'd be really boring. And you should do something else. You should be a writer, like we went to school for and like we wanted to do for years. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Judgmental. First of all, you applied with the purpose of going into copy editing. It's kind of crazy hearing myself be like, you want to be a writer. But, yeah, girl, no, I'm not a writer. I'm not in marketing. That's crazy. Because you are right, I would probably kill myself because it'd be super boring. Do you travel very much? Where have you traveled to? Like, at this point in my life, I've been to most of the states on the West Coast. I've been to, like, Kentucky and Tennessee. Only country I've been to other than the US is Canada. Wow, what a great question. You've traveled a lot, but mostly in this past year. You also said earlier that if you moved to a city, you would want to move to Chicago, and that is still very true. I do want to live in Chicago, because I've been to Chicago now, which is pretty awesome. I liked it a lot. I've been to Toronto, I've been to Louisville, Kentucky. I had a great time there. Let's see, where else have I been? I've been to Washington, D.C. You went to Las Vegas. You wandered all up and down through all of the casinos until you got sick and nauseous and was like, were spiraling. You just went to New York City for the first time, and that was a really excellent time. You got to meet up with some of your work friends and your old roommate Iggy. And that was also my first time traveling solo for fun. You have a lot of adventures, and you really learn a lot about yourself. I believe at the time of filming this, you were wanting to plan a trip to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, which we have not gone to, and I don't know when that will happen. You have a lot of fun traveling. There's so much that this country has to offer. Are you eating healthy finally? Like, I'm eating fine now, I guess, but like, with money, it's hard to like, give myself permission to spend money on healthy food. Hopefully you have learned a little bit of cooking, a little bit more than we have. Yes, I do eat pretty healthy. I don't eat as healthy as I want to. You're still a vegetarian, by the way. I'm very utilitarian, and I think that's a little bit of what you were going through, where it was just like, I need calories, I need nutrients. The meals that I make for myself are whatever is easiest and is nutritious. Either that or just like date someone who's good at cooking. Are you married? Okay, No, I'm not married. I definitely have had moments where I would have loved to do that. And I felt myself ready to do that. You have not been with anybody who has been ready to do that, which is okay. Everybody's on their own journey, right? You know, life is full of surprises. I just have to know someone really well. I have to trust somebody, and I have to know that they are on the same page to be able to make that decision in an informed way, because I am not a hasty person. Are you married? Are you like dating anyone? Are we still with like what's going on that front? Yes, you have dated other people. No, you're not still with that person. Be glad about it. Do you have kids? No, I don't have kids. The current goal is to not have kids before I'm like 28, because I want to like, you know, give myself time to figure this whole mess out. So like, I hope you don't have kids, but if you do have kids, what happened there? Being 25 now and not being in a long-term relationship, 28 feels really soon. But you know, I think you and I are of the same mind. I don't want to wait too long. And also, as an aunt, you have 10 nieces and nephews now. We're all lucky enough to be along for the ride as they figure stuff out. I think it's really lovely, and I think it's really beautiful. And I do want to have kids, but not soon. What are the nieces and nephews doing? Oh no. By the time that you, like, respond to this video, my oldest nephew is gonna be 14. What's he doing? What are the other little ones doing? They're gonna be like, is 13, but he is significantly taller than me now. He's wonderful. He's really into writing and music production. He's like fully like a teenager, and it's really fun and really sweet. And it's, again, a wonderful gift to be able to be there and, you know, be like, great job, kid. All the other nieces and nephews, they're all still pretty young. They're all wonderful. They're all growing into their own little personalities and unique traits and interests and passions and thoughts about the world, and it's just so exciting to see. How's mom and dad? How are the siblings? Mom and dad are wonderful. The siblings are all doing good. Everybody's living their own life. Everybody's on their own journey. You have some really wonderful relationships and really wonderful conversations with people that you didn't necessarily think were on the table, like after coming out of the closet when you were 18. Speaking of, I'm filming this on the 13th, so this is what my 7th year anniversary of being like, hey, I'm gay. So that's pretty cool. Things are a lot better now than they were when you first did that. You're still gay. Not to be rude. You don't really feel the need to have validation or approval for that part of yourself. It doesn't hurt anymore to not have that. It doesn't feel like people aren't seeing the whole you. Things get a lot better. A lot better. I know I mentioned a little bit of this earlier, but what are national politics like right now? For better and worse, people are a lot less hysterical about stuff like that now. People have kind of become jaded to a lot of really awful stuff and apathetic to a lot of stuff as well. What does the United States look like now? Is it capitalist anymore? Because I hope it's not capitalist anymore, because that'd be disappointing. What did you think was gonna happen in 5 years? No, it's still capitalist. It's worse, even, I would say. So, what do like international politics look like? Russia went to war with Ukraine. Israel and Palestine are a lot worse now than it was back then. But a lot of people are talking about Israel and Palestine right now. And a lot more eyes are on it than at the time you were recording this, which was a really intense experience for you, having talked about it for several years and being frustrated that people weren't paying attention. And then all of a sudden everybody was paying attention, but didn't have a lot of information or expertise or knowledge, and were trying to fast track their learning. And it was a really hectic experience and really depressing also to see what's happening in Israel and Gaza. Like, it's all on a scale that is worse than you can probably imagine. So that's kind of the main things that were huge that happened after COVID. So Charlie Kirk died also. Charlie Kirk got assassinated on stage at a college it was really crazy. You don't watch the video. People need to stop consuming really horrible, violent stuff. It's really bad for us. It's like was on video and spread like wildfire around the internet. Most people I know have seen it. And a good example of what the internet kind of is now, AI is like a huge thing, which you would also hate. And dead internet theory feels really accurate now. It does feel like bots are all just talking to each other. I do think that kind of the biggest awful consequence of COVID was so many people who had never really spent a lot of time on the internet suddenly going online and being online all the time. That has had a very negative impact on the way we talk about politics and the way we view and interact with each other. I'll talk to my 30-year-old self about the current political state a little bit more. I kind of struggle with the idea of being 25. That's kind of a crazy conception for me because I was always really in a rush ever since I was 17 to get on with my life. And once I got to about 19, I realized I needed to cut myself more slack. Now that I'm 20, I feel like I have learned a lot and I know so much more that it's scary. It's scary, right? Yeah, I get that. I understand it being scary. As I've gotten older, I've kind of reframed it to be it's exciting rather than scary to see what I have learned and to see how I've implemented that understanding. And I find a lot of relief and joy in thinking about how little I know. Every year getting older feels a little bit less crazy. Especially this year, I feel like I've lived a very thorough, complete year. What is it like at 25 to look back on your freshman year of college? Because that's the time that I look back on the most. I would say I am not the most nostalgic for college. I was ready to be done with college when I graduated because it took so long. I like being here and now, and I like doing with the present moment what I can. When I'm 25, that's gonna be 7 years since. What is it like to reflect on that now? It's not that interesting. There's been so much more in life beyond freshman year of college. Let's see, friends. Who are your friends? What are they like? I was thinking earlier today that it's probably so fascinating, the friendships you have as you get older, because by age 25 you're a little bit more realized as a person, ideally. If everyone else gets to that point, how close are friendships now? How do they work? It seems. How do they work? What are you talking about? Okay, so, you don't get to see everybody all the time, but there are plenty of people that I still care very deeply for and feel very invested in their well-being, and I love hearing from them. Oftentimes that's just a short text these days because everybody's busy, but I also very much have this mindset right now where the world is so hard that I want every interaction people have with me to be positive or at least neutral. We live in a world that's so antisocial and everybody looks out for themselves because we're all dealing with the same thing, right? I think we do owe to each other care and dignity and interest. And I try to live that out. The world's not changing on that front as much as I'd like, but you do what you can. I hope by 30 I feel a little bit less lost in this social world that we're living in now. I hope things get out of this weird rut. But yeah. I hope that by the time you watch this video, no one you know has died. Aunt Yaya has passed away. That was really hard. Uncle Gary has passed away. Izzy, your dog, Drake, your cat, have both passed away. Yeah. Are you still as scared of the present and how it impacts your future as I am now? Because it's really overwhelming to have the knowledge that every action I take right now is sort of building toward this future that I have no idea what it looks like. And it's scary. It's weird and I'm afraid of it, but what do you think of that now? That's a really beautiful thought, and that's really sweet. And I don't think that that's gone away completely. I was able to kind of let go of that. Things feel a lot less urgent. you get a lot more time to be reflective and to plan. And so it takes away a good deal of, I think, that anxiety that you're feeling. You realize, I think, things ebb and flow and become important or aren't important, and you can't really ever predict what those things are. I do kind of live by the idea that, like, everything you do today is building the rest of your life, and what you do tomorrow, like the habits you do today, those are the person that you are. Is there any advice you'd give to 20-year-old Kate, like, looking back on the years since you turned 25? Because I'd love to hear it. No. I wouldn't give you any advice, and this is like such a pretentious sounding answer, but you kind of catch on to this feeling pretty soon, I think, after you make this video. There's things in my life that I wish weren't the case and that I wish hadn't happened. Certainly. But I wouldn't change anything because I like who I am now and I like who I am working to become. And it wouldn't be the same without all of that. I really don't have any advice. Keep it up. Figure it out. I hope you're doing okay. And I hope everyone else you know is doing okay too. This has been a really hard year, and I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how everybody's going to bounce back from it, or if we will, or if the world is just going to be completely different, you know? But I hope. I think it'll be okay. And it does pan out okay. There's things that suck that were a result of that year, but it is okay. I hope we don't worry about money as much as we do now, because that is probably the most stressful thing in my life right now. And living paycheck to paycheck, not fun. Not fun at all. I feel like I have to scramble around to make rent every month. You gotta do that for 4 more years. I'm sorry. You gotta do it for 4 more years, and it's one of the absolute worst parts of your life at this time. I said for years, the money that I want is the money that it takes for me to not have to worry about it. And right now, I don't have to worry about it. I'm not scraping stuff together. I still budget, I still plan, but I'm not in a panic. Experiencing these two different ways of living in my adult life really informs the way I approach the work that I do, because this is like real life for a lot of people. Like what baby Kate was going through, that's real life for a lot of people. And so I use that experience in my life as like a sort of fuel. Do something nice for yourself after you watch this video and respond to it. Yeah, me treating myself is gonna be me going to bed. So, which is so boring and not a reflection of being 25. It's a reflection of being jet lagged. But yeah, thank you for, taking care of us until we turn 25. You're welcome. Thank you for taking care of us. That was very nice. I had a really fun time watching that. She was a little out of pocket, but not as bad as I expected. Thank you for watching, if you watched this along with me. Thank you, 20-year-old Kate, for getting me here. Couldn't have done it without you, girl.